I went through a phase in my life just trying to figure out if God really does speak to you. I'd been to some conferences, traveling and leading worship, and people always talked about God spoke to them and God said this and God said that. And so I just went through a time I just started really crying out to God, do you really speak to people that way? And I got invited to lead worship in Dallas, Texas at the Harvey Hotel in Dallas, Texas. And went in and was introduced to the other worship leaders that were going to be there. I was really excited to be there. Did not feel that I should be there, but it was just a blessing. And I wanted to impress these guys. And during the first session, first service, I was not leading. I was down in one of the seats. And during the worship, I sensed something going on. And I felt like God was speaking to me and said to step out into the aisle and do push-ups. And my first thought was, well, this can't be God. There's no such thing as push-ups in the Bible. Moses didn't do push-ups. So what in the world is going on? Can't be. Must have been the pizza I ate last night, and I let it go. And just a few minutes later, I felt that squeezing of my heart again. I felt God speaking to me again, saying, step out in the aisle and do push-ups. And again, the second time, I just kept thinking, there's no way this is God. If I do this, it's going to be real embarrassing if nothing happens. And then the third time, I knew that I had to do something. And I had this thought in my mind that if this is God, I'm going to step out now and do push-ups and something happened. If it's not, I'm just going to do it anyway. And I decided right then, I know you guys are going through a series, the time is now. And I just decided time's now. I'm going after God, so let's just see what happens. And so I stepped out in the aisle and I laid down in the floor and I began to do push-ups right in the middle of a worship service with all these people singing and worshiping God. And here I am doing push-ups. And I was hoping to be inconspicuous, but the guy next to me in the aisle started counting. And he started going, 1, 2, 3. And I was just like, I felt like I was having an out-of-body experience. Nothing happened. I finished doing like, I don't know how many push-ups, it wasn't that many. And then I stepped back in my spot. My personality is, if I feel embarrassed, my next emotion is anger. And I was mad. And I thought to myself, why would God ask me to do something like that and embarrass myself? I could feel people looking at me trying to figure out why in the world he's doing push-ups during worship in a church service. And while I was having that moment of frustration towards God, a guy walked up on the stage, grabbed the microphone, said, I need to say something. And he started talking about how his wife had been asking him to go to church every Wednesday and Sunday for like 10 years, and he always said no. She asked him to come to this event that we were all at and said, he said, I will go if you promise to never ask me to go again. And she said, I will do it. She called all her friends, and this is all backstory we found out later on. She called all her friends and said, please be praying for my husband. He's coming to church tonight. And when he came in, they sat in the back, and everybody is singing and worshiping, the band's playing, and he's being reminded of why he feels so uncomfortable and doesn't like church. And in that moment of frustration towards church and religion and God, he looked at his wife and said, I tell you what, I will get saved if somebody will do push-ups in the aisle. Now, don't forget, sometimes I will tell this story and people think, man, that's really cool of you that you heard God. Don't forget, I was mad the whole time because I didn't think he did anything. The process that I learned in my relationship with God during that time is there are many times God's going to ask me to do something, and the moment is right then to do it, right then. And don't worry about it if it embarrasses me, makes me look stupid. It does not matter. Do what he says. Sometimes nothing will happen. Sometimes something will happen, but how much faith do I have to step out in that moment? It's an honor to be able to share this with you today, not because it has anything to do with me. I don't even mind if you even know what my name is. I just want to glorify God, that he is sovereign and he does speak to his children.